Hey guys, what's up? It's lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss Love, Simon again. I'm here with my awesome friend Steve. We're in his apartment in Manhattan, and I felt that this is a good time, a good moment to discuss why Love, Simon is so important to us. Two different ages, two different coming out stories. So, Steve.
Yes, Joe.
Why was Love, Simon important to you?
You know, it's so funny. I wasn't even planning to see it. You posted so much that you loved it. So I said, like, let me check it out. And I didn't even think I would like it. Like, I really didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was important to me because it literally made me cry throughout the entire movie. And I thought that it was important in that it actually got to share the story of what it's like to be gay and coming out.
Yeah.
And even though it applied to the generation who uses Snapchat and email or whatever,
Yes.
there's a lot of similarities, I thought, in my story, and I'm sure and probably in yours too.
Yeah.
It was done in a way that wasn't cheesy. I thought it was very impactful and maybe even educational to people who are not gay and got to understand the difficulty of it.
I agree with you.
What about you? Yeah.
I see what you're saying with the educational aspect, because there's so many different news articles about the different girls or different guys going to see the film with their parents. And this one girl in particular, she was saying that her mom was very against her coming out as a lesbian for 4 or 5 years, however long it was, and that her mom agreed to go see Love, Simon with her. And she held her hand during the movie, and her mom was tearing up, and she's like, I am so sorry for not understanding, how hard it is to come to terms with yourself. You went through it. It's you're questioning life, you're questioning where you fit in, you're questioning what's your purpose, but more so, how am I going to be accepted for who I am, for who I like? So that's why I find that this movie is quite poetic. That's why I saw it 7 times in the theaters.
I know, 7 times.
Because it was such a empowering thing. Exactly what you said. It wasn't cheesy at all. It was beautifully done.
Yes.
And Becky, the author of the book that it's based off of, even said that that's exactly how she wanted the film to be portrayed. Of course, there's differences from the book to the screen, but it was an empowering moment for kids, for adults, for all different sexualities, genders, ethnicities. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are. It was a very important moment, knowing that you're allowed to question.
Yeah, I think that the part that was so powerful was that I think the acting was well done too, which I have to say. So the acting was good. Actually, before I jump into that, I'm kind of curious. You saw it 7 times, so did you get a different takeaway each time you saw it, or did you learn something new?
I did, yeah. So the first time I saw it, I was with one of my good friends. He only wanted to see it because of the soundtrack. It's a very indie soundtrack. It's an indie film, and he's obsessed with indie music. And the soundtrack came out like 2 months before the movie came out.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, yo, we gotta see it. And I was like, yo, Nick Robinson is Simon, so I gotta watch it because I'm a big fan of Nick's. And so we watched it.
He's straight, by the way. He's a straight actor.
Yes.
Okay.
But while he was filming, one of his brothers came out. So it gave him the courage to come out. And Keenan, I can't remember his last name, the Australian kid who plays Blue, he came out right after, at the wrap party, actually, for that film. And what's her face? Crystal, the girl who played Leia. She's in 13 Reasons Why on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember her name, and I feel like an idiot right now.
It's okay. We can Google it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later Google. That's what it is. But she is bisexual.
Okay.
So it's important because so many people were coming out while making this film, realizing that they can. So it was cool seeing that. But anyway, back to Nick. I saw it that first time with my one friend, and I saw it a second time by myself. And then picking up little things. There's like one particular thing, like how he has that chalkboard around his bedroom? There's a blue question mark in the top right corner above his head for a solid 2 months of film kind of a thing. Obviously it's him questioning, oh, who's Blue? But you gotta pay attention to that little cinematography kind of thing.
That's amazing.
And
Did you read about this or you just happened to observe it?
Because I saw it 7 times, and I saw it one of the times I saw it alone. I saw it 3 times by myself. And I was like, oh, that's smart. That's actually smart. And there's this little thing above his head, like a little bubble in chalk, and it says think, exclamation point. So it's like referencing, all right, just think. How am I going to do this? How am I going to come out? How am I going to find who this Blue person is because I really want to kiss him, stuff like that. It was so cool seeing those little subplots, that subtext that you're allowed to question, but literally a blue question mark in the screenshot.
So cool.
It's really cool seeing that, yeah.
Actually one thing about the film that also was emotional, I have to just want to add, was that it was about romantic love. And I think that in gay culture, it's so much about hookups and sex and all this other stuff that I was like, oh man, it made me kind of want to be in a relationship like that. Like, and I haven't felt like that in a bit, you know. So because I'm so busy working and everything, and so that was like, there's something about it that was really sweet. It really made you feel. But what I was kind of curious about, as you know, your coming out story. I don't know. Are you cool with sharing that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So tell me a little
bit about it.
Like, I mean, like, when did you realize you were gay?
So, it was a very long time coming. I had my first boyfriend when I was 17 years old. I was in high school. But before that, you know, kids would always pick on me, you know, call me names and stuff, throw things at me. But typical bullying, I guess. But then when I first started to walk hand in hand with this guy I liked, I was a senior, he was a sophomore at this time. So of course, scandal, because we were in 2 different grades, right?
Oh.
But then at one point, someone said something, and I just kissed this kid in front of everyone, and no one said a word to me ever again. It was just like, wow, he did that in front of us. The balls on that kid.
So
it was like
a confidence thing.
Yeah. So it was like exactly. It was a confidence thing. It was like, if I'm confident enough to kiss this guy in front of everybody, then what's the point of trying to say something ever again? And no one said anything to me for the rest of that senior year.
Do you think that's how they were going to react, or was that just like a spontaneous thing that you just did?
I didn't. I wanted to kiss him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. Spontaneous. Like, I wasn't expecting that kind of aftermath, but then I got a lot of respect out of that. So that was pretty cool. I didn't expect that. So then afterwards, you know, there was the bisexuals phase. So I would date a girl, I would date a guy, I would go back to a girl. The last girl I actually had feelings for was 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. So there was that intermediate stage, and then I realized that I'm more comfortable with males in a relationship. I'm not a hookup-y kind of guy. So we were talking the other week actually about this current boy situation, right? Delightful situation that it is.
That person's not going to be watching this video, right?
Who knows? We'll keep names out of it.
Yeah.
So with the boy situation.
Yeah.
So with this boy, it's an interesting situation because of this whole emotional connection, which doesn't happen very often. So you were introducing me to a new term, demisexual, which I thought was very appropriate for this particular aspect, because obviously it's easier to just label myself gay, right? Because that's what people are used to hearing. Oh, he likes the guy, he's clearly gay. But in a technical standpoint, I fall under that queer umbrella. And then that demisexuality, which is someone who likes someone based off of the connection. How did you explain it again?
Demisexuality is basically when you're attracted to someone after you establish an emotional connection.
Emotional connection.
So it's not that, it's kind of like between being homosexual or whatever sexuality you are, and asexual.
Yeah.
So you still have sexuality there, but it's not like it's not like the deal breaker for you. It's not like the main thing. And also, you probably don't get sexually attracted instantly and easily with everyone.
Correct.
It kind of takes more getting to know them.
Yes.
Does that kind of feels more right for you?
Yeah. No, that's that. When we talked the other day, it was that, you know, light turned on moment, and I was like, oh, because, you know, you and I discussed Reiki and energy and stuff before. So it's like, if we know how to do that stuff, it's a matter of finding that connection with someone. And when you do find that connection with someone, it doesn't happen that often. And I've said that to this particular guy, lightning in a bottle. So it's a matter of waiting. I'm in no rush for anything. So it's coming to terms, allowing everyone to question and be comfortable. And I think that's appropriate for this particular situation. So thank you for you know, helping me out with all of those words of wisdom.
Oh, sure, no problem.
That's a big. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you. It's cool. Sometimes it doesn't even come from me. It kind of comes through me. Like, I feel like people come and talk to me about like a problem, whatever, and all of a sudden like something happens, and I'm like, blah, 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 and I was like, I don't even know if I just said that, but then it helps them, and they walk away feeling like they got learned something or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
It is nice.
So, yeah.
When now going back to you now, because there's a 10-year age gap between us, right?
Yeah.
So when you came out, how was that kind of questioning? How was that?
It was
for you.
I think it was actually, you know, it was really tough because I grew up in a very homophobic environment. Like I went to an all boys Catholic school, and so everything was you're a fag. So if you were stupid, you weren't stupid, you were a fag.
Okay.
If you were late, you weren't late, you were a homo. So like literally, it was like that, and high school was the worst time of my life ever.
Okay.
And so like a lot of bullying. I was physically sick. Like I go to school and like throw up, like, because people, that's how it was. So it was bad. I didn't like it. but I didn't even realize I was gay. Like, I think I realized it more in college.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny because in college I was suddenly like the cool kid because I was never cool in high school. But like in college I was like a radio DJ and a guy on TV and then like a newspaper writer. And so suddenly I had this voice and people were like watching me and stuff like that. And I remember that when I started to realize that I was gay, I kind of used my voice, but I did a very cowardly thing. I talked about accepting gay people, but I did it from the point of view as an ally. So I didn't even say I was gay. I kind of made it look like I was a straight guy defending gay people.
Okay.
And I kind of regret doing that, but I guess I was operating out of fear. But I made it look like in my article that I wouldn't be ashamed if I were gay.
Okay.
And so it's the first time I'm saying that out loud, actually. I'm embarrassed about that, just so you guys know. So yeah, that's the situation. And when I came out, people were like, oh yeah, I knew. Like, you know, and a lot of people didn't because I hung out with a lot of punk rockers and a lot of like straight people. It was all about the music. It wasn't about sex or anything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the story. Yeah. Hope it wasn't too long-winded, guys.
No. That's why I enjoy sitting down with you and
thank
talking,
you.
because it's that train of thought. You know, we get to just have these open conversations. It keeps up with that authenticity.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that the coming out thing, because when you said that, I automatically go to Simon and Abby in the car, and Simon's like, I'm gay, and she's like, oh, okay. And he's
Didn't
like,
care.
Did you know? And she's like, yes. And he's like, were you surprised? And she's like, no. And then she's like, did you want me to be surprised? And he's like, I don't know. But that's what reminded me when you just said that.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It was weird. They were more accepting of it than I was. I think the hardest one was my father accepting it.
Okay.
But, you know, it was, God, this is now public. I don't know, it's really public because it's online. But I remember, you know, at the restaurant that I worked at, it was also a very homophobic environment.
Okay.
Because everyone was straight, and, you know, that was the thing. And so I remember he called me upstairs, and he just started to, like, cry. Like, he had no idea that I was going through this. And I was, like, just shocked. And what about your parents?
So it was pretty rough at first because, you know, you're raised in an Italian household, and like you're beautiful baby boy supposed to marry a beautiful Italian girl, right? That's just their upbringing.
Yeah.
But it's different. You know, they were Brooklyn, Queens upbringing in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So then they moved out to Long Island, and it's a different environment. Because the decades are different, and acceptance is different. So for me, it was because I didn't have a label when I was dating that first guy, when I was 17 years old. I was with a guy. I was public about being with a guy, but I wouldn't call myself gay because I still liked particular girls at that point. So it was very weird to try to label myself to get them to understand where I was coming from. So for the longest time, I just said blanket bisexual. Sometimes I like girls, sometimes I like guys. And then that was the thing. Like, I would hang out with this girl all the time back in like 2009. I'll never forget this. And every single time I brought her over, my mom just kept asking, so when are you going to ask her out? So when are you going to ask her out? And it was like, Mom, I don't, like, I like her like that, but like, I don't know, I don't want to like date her.
Yeah.
And then right after, you know, me and this friend like were on weird terms, I started to hang out with this guy. So then it was a transitional period for my parents. My brother didn't care. It's just like, because we're roughly the same age. I got 2 years on him. So, you know, it's just that environment. Like, all right, cool. Like, just be safe and just, you know, be happy. But the older I got and the more fights, you know, I have with my parents about, you know, just let me be me, and I just need you to accept me for me. I'm not harming myself. I'm not harming anyone else. I'm safe. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm healthy. So, like, let's just come to that understanding. And we eventually did come to that understanding. And it's been very, very easy now, you know, since then. But it took a while. It took a long time.
Yeah. No, but I think that, you know, it's interesting because back to the film and everything like that, in some ways, I feel like it's a lot easier for kids. And I always thought, like, it would be much easier for kids. So when the fact that they even did this movie that was about, you know, like the fact they even did a movie like in 2018 about this, I was like, isn't it easier for them? But the fact is, I see a lot of hate crimes out there still. There's still a lot of bullying. There's still gay. So I guess there is still some sort of stigma, I guess, of being gay. Or nowadays, with anything now, it's you know, bisexual, transgender, like all those other, anything that's different than the heteronormative thing is still you know,
cisgender mindset.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, that's the thing, but thank God I think we're in a world where people are kind of like getting a little bit more, you know, accepting of it and all that sort of stuff.
I'm very happy you said that, because the first review I did was the Love Simon thing. That's one of the things I was saying, that that it's this movie is important because it brings this to the narrative, the mainstream narrative. 20th Century Fox, one of the big production companies, financed this film about this kid coming to terms with who he is, who he likes, who he wants to be, making sure he's comfortable with himself, and then fighting back when he doesn't get to do his own coming out thing because, you know, Martin's a douchebag and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So I honestly wanted him to punch him in the face, but words are stronger than violence. We know this, right? So it's a little funny thing. But it's important because 20, 30, 40 years from now, people are going to be talking to their kids and like, oh, daddy, when did you come out? Or something like that because, you know, two same gender parents are the norm now.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I worked in a daycare for a very long time.
Okay.
So many same-sex couples have children.
That's great.
It's just, it's how it is now. It's not a taboo situation, even though some states are still trying to fight that. But it's not gonna be that way forever. So that's why I keep saying 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, when grown-ups, quote-unquote, are having the conversations with their parents, oh, when did you come out? And they'll say, oh, you know, there was this film back in 2018 called Love, Simon, and I watched it with my mom, and I watched it with my friends. And I was like, you know, if Simon can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
Because it's about representation. And for so long, even though there's you know, a decade between us, there was no actual representation of same-sex couples on a screen in a romantic way.
Yeah.
Yes, we had Brokeback Mountain back in 2005, but how did that end? A violent death beating of poor Jake Gyllenhaal. It's just, it's not a romance to aspire to have kind of a thing.
Yeah, no, it's
representation. That's what it comes down to. That's why everyone and their mother is talking about this film. That's why I wanted to sit down and talk to you about this film. It's because it's important to see our lives on screen.
You know what I also liked about the film, something I just wanted to point out real quick, is that like I think that in the end he was still him. And I think that there was this period like, oh, should I dress gay or should I whatever? But he realized that it's still, that's the thing. Because I think coming out is scary because then you feel like I'm going to be a completely different person, a completely different identity. Yeah. But your essence and vibe, I think, is still kind of the same. And I think
it is.
I think it's just more about, owning and, accepting what you like. But this doesn't just go with orientation. I think this goes with anything in life.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that being okay with your desires and what you want out of life for yourself, what you want sexually in bed, whatever those things are, I think that a lot of people have hang-ups and shame for anything that's not mainstream.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to work for anyone, regardless of their gender or orientation, to really be able to be like, I like what I like this is me, this is who I am, and really own it. And that's one of the hardest things. I think that sometimes people are still doing in their 40s and 50s and 60s, still trying to accept themselves.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's exactly what you just said, piggybacking on that. You don't have to have an answer right now.
Yeah.
It could take you 5-6 years to figure out what you want to present yourself as, how you want to present yourself. So many transgender kids, for instance, right now, they're getting a lot of crap for what bathroom they feel comfortable in.
Oh, yeah.
Because these adults don't understand the difference between sexuality and a gender.
Yeah.
So there's a difference, obviously, between sex, as in what sex you are, what body parts you have, what chromosomes you have.
Yes.
Versus gender. Gender it's different. So I like that now it's becoming a conversation. And you hear, from what I've noticed, there's not so much negativity as there was a year ago, as there was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
These different bathroom bills were trying to get passed in Texas and all that crap. And one celebrity after another would come out as gay or transgender or something like that. And it was in the forefront. It was representation. And people were like, oh, you know what? I can do it. I can talk about it now. This is me. This is who I am. This is how I want to present myself. Let's just learn to live together. But of course, there's a difference between an aggressive person who's shoving it down your throat and someone who's just nonchalant, just let me be me and just leave me alone. Kind of thing. So I understand both sides of that representation matters, but don't be a douchebag about it. That goes for anything. Anything.
Yeah, it's kind of, and I feel kind of like a dick to even say this right now, but I almost feel a knock on wood. If there's any wood anyway. But it's almost like there's a lot of that hate and there's a lot of that discrimination, all that sort of stuff. But in a way, and I hate, I feel grateful, but at the same time, not trying to brag, but I don't feel affected by that because I feel very lucky.
Yes.
to be around like good people who like love me. Like it's so amazing.
Yes.
And I can't like I almost know it would happen like that, but I just feel so blessed and so lucky to have wonderful people in my life, and these things are not even an issue. So like I'm talking about it with you right now, but it's not something that I really deal with, thank God.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there who do deal with
Yes.
hate and discrimination and all that shit.
Which goes to what you said
Yeah.
a couple minutes ago about being an ally.
Yeah.
It's that we are in that same umbrella, right?
Yeah.
Of different.
Yeah.
Even though different is becoming the norm.
Yeah.
But we still need to support one another, fighting the good fight to make
Yeah.
sure everyone is safe, to make sure everyone has the same rights, kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
we're in a weird gray area on all fronts, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Takes time for some
You need darkness to get to light.
Yes.
That rainbow comes after the storm. All of those cheesy little, beautiful things. So we'll get there. Well, thank you very much for having me here.
Thanks for the opportunity to like do this.
Yes, thank you for opening up. Thank you for being your true, authentic self. I really appreciate that. Anything else you'd like to?
Well,
to
I just want to
express?
say, to anyone out there that's watching, I think Joe over here is really putting himself out there. He's first of all, he really seems to know a lot about pop culture and a lot about movies. So whatever, I'm not even sure if I'm looking at the camera. I'm sorry about that. Hey guys. That and I feel like he knows what he's talking about, and he has a really great way of expressing himself. So I hope you're enjoying his content, and if you made it this far, even more amazing that you got to watch. So thanks. Hopefully you got something interesting out of this experience. So yeah.
Piggybacking on that, join in on the conversation, join in on the discussion. What was your stories like? How was your coming out tale? Are you questioning? Do you have questions that we possibly might have answers? Because we have quite a lot of life experience ahead of us in this particular department.
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, until next time, mucho mahalo, guys. Take care.